before we close this out. And Mr. Wall, I want to come to you because in the FTC's complaint, executives at Ticketmaster knew that scalpers were violating the ticket purchasing limits. And it seemed, from what I've read, that it was a big inside joke that you all knew this, but you were allowing it to happen. Your C-suite knew of this. One of your executives even wrote in an email that we have stating that you, and I'm quoting, turn a blind eye as a matter of policy, end quote. Now, you have emphatically denied that this conduct really had any sort of malfeasance. You all have denied that, but I want you to answer. Why would you have to turn a blind eye, as your executive put it, if there was no wrongdoing that was taking place?
I think that is taken very much out of context, Senator, but let me just cut to the chase here. Our actions speak.
We'll be happy to provide you the email.
I have the email, I've seen it.
Okay.
But our actions
Not out of
speak
context.
louder than anything else. We showed up, we walked the walk. We actually put the money in, we improved our defenses. Our bot defenses are second to none in the world.
They're obviously not up to par. You've got bots still getting through, and you've got scalpers that are still scooping up these tickets. So we've got a disconnect going on here somewhere.
And Senator, we will always take the position that so long as tickets are still going on this way, then we're not up to par. That's our position too.
Okay, well, let's accept that. And let's say there's work to be done. So do you accept any responsibility when a fan is hit with a speculative or ghost ticket?
Never, because we do not allow those on Ticketmaster.
But it's happening. Mr. Berry, how about your members?
I'm sorry, Senator, do our members support?
Take any responsibility?
Absolutely, Senator. We serve tens of millions of fans every year.
Okay. And Mr. Wall, why can't Ticketmaster work with artists and do what Mr. Ritchie has recommended, where you would have tiered opportunities for fans? Why can't you all make that happen?
So Ticketmaster never sets prices itself. However, Live Nation and Ticketmaster do offer the tiers, the platinums. For example, we stand alone. We're the only resale site that will consistently, if Mr. Ritchie says he doesn't want us to turn on resale on our Ticketmaster marketplace, we won't. If we do, we will pay him a portion of it.
I don't. That's the first time I've heard very recently from Michaels, the CEO, that we could do this cap or not have resale. I'm like, well, he goes, yeah, we've done it for other artists for a while now. For Pearl Jam, which is maybe why they're not here making a stink today still. They might have a side deal from what I've seen. I'm like, why don't?
So it's not.
They're like, you can have this deal too. I'm like, why haven't you told us this? Oh, we're really bad at advertising. I'm like, come on, that's BS.
Yes.
There's nothing unusual about these arrangements I'm talking. Every artist that we promote has the option to tell us.
How can it not be unusual if the artists don't know?
Right.
That this
We'd have
is
no
an
idea.
option?
I would be happy to put in the record the list of dozens of artists
Then you need
that
to
we turned off the TM Plus.
I
know who the artists
I
are.
would
I got 'em.
recommend that you submit a list. Let me ask you to submit a list of artists who are able to control their ticket sales, who are able to turn off the secondary market, and who are able to work with you how they want to tier these tickets.
Senator,
Let me move
if I
on
may,
to,
Senator,
well, no, I'm moving on.
Face value exchange. We are the only one that offers artists the opportunity to do
Wall,
face value exchange.
I've got
How
another
long?
question for you.
Since we'd invented it a few years ago.
I've never heard of it. I'm very close with
Okay.
a lot of people at Live Nation
We're
everywhere.
going to move on to another. Senator Lujan referenced a letter that he and I sent to you.
Yes.
And I've got it right here. I will submit it for the record without objection. And in it you said, and I'm going to quote, Given the level of abuse you are now seeing, you will no longer permit brokers to use multiple accounts. So, before now, you have allowed brokers to use multiple accounts.
Yes.
This gets to what I was talking to Mr. Berry about verification of these accounts. So you've allowed them to use these multiple accounts, but then you also said in that letter that you weren't turning a blind eye. So were you all screwing up, or were you lying?
Neither.
Neither. Okay. Mr. Weingarten, what do you have to say about that?
Well, I mean, just a couple things just from what has been said, and I just want to make clear that the Ticket Act, as it's written, does not outright ban spec ticketing.
Right.
So that definitely does need to get updated or changed.
Okay.
And since we're all in agreement, that would be great. But the other piece is that, sorry, I lost my train of thought. What was the question again? I apologize.
We were talking about, he was saying that we were talking about the brokers.
Multiple
Scalpers
accounts.
and the multiple
Oh, yeah.
accounts that the brokers had, and they had responded. We have the email where one of the C-suite said that they just turned a blind eye. It was standard practice. But in the response to Senator Lujan and I, they responded, given the level of abuse you are now seeing, like it was just now beginning to happen, you will no longer permit brokers to use multiple accounts. And you had referenced the ghost tickets, speculative
Right.
tickets. So I was asking if you agreed with him.
I would definitely say that we experienced that quite a bit. In fact, when we're looking at different, trying to do some like scrubs to see how many scalpers are potentially hitting a particular show, sometimes they're even egregiously even utilizing the Boulder Theater's address and we'll see 20 to 30 different.
And then when you find one of these scalpers, what do?
We try to cancel those orders and get rid of them,
Cancel the
because when you're
orders.
seeing
And you
when
do
you're
it
seeing
before.
60 different orders, not tickets, 60 different orders from the state of Indiana or something like that come in for a show at the Fox Theater in Boulder on a particular
Yeah.
night, we know that that's fraudulent activity.
Okay, Mr. Wall, I want to come back to you on this because I think it gets, why did you allow the abuse of the system for years? Before you said you weren't turning a blind eye, and before you said you were going to clean it up.
What we allowed was brokers to have multiple accounts, and that is because virtually all brokers have multiple accounts and always have.
So you did not do verification if these were actual brokers or they were bots?
Oh, sure we did. Of course we did.
Well, you ended up with a whole lot of bots, and then you said you're blocking a lot of the bots. So, I mean, we've still got a difference. Mr. Ritchie, you had a comment?
It's this simple. If I buy a ticket and I go to the show, I'm their worst customer. If they allow these multiple counts to go on, that ticket resells and they make more money. Boom.
Mr. Wall, I want to come back to you. July of last year, Ticketmaster filed a public comment in response to the DOJ and the FTC request for information on issues in the ticketing industry. Now, in that public comment, you made some very interesting arguments. Not sure I agree with all of this, but you made some interesting arguments. On page 11 of that comment, you wrote that the Bots Act, and I'm quoting, implicitly obligates ticketing platforms not to turn a blind eye to patterns of behavior that indicate unlawful ticketing harvesting.
Yes.
End quote. Okay, now I agree with that. You should not turn a blind eye to that. This supports the fact that the Bots Act holds companies like Ticketmaster liable for selling unlawfully purchased tickets. Senator Moran and I wrote the Bots Act, and the Bots Act was never meant to be Section 230 for ticketing platforms. So why are you now taking the opposite position in ongoing litigation?
We aren't. There must be a misunderstanding because our interpretation of the Bots Act is fundamentally the interpretation that you and Senator Lujan put forward in your amicus brief in the key investment group case.
And we have another amicus brief coming on the second one. Okay, do you have, Senator Hickenlooper, do you have any questions